Hello everyone. Today I wanted to share with you the 5 principles that I used to achieve an 85% win rate in Team Ranked in the final week of the season. Playing solo, just queuing up by myself, getting random teammates. I ended up going on a bit of a win streak and took myself all the way from Gold 1 to Diamond 1 in just the last week of the season. And I think that's something that's very doable if you kind of follow these 5 principles and lessons that I kind of was keeping in my mind as I was playing. If you're somebody who doesn't solo queue and you do have teammates, this video is also going to have some kind of general team tips as well. So keep an eye out for those. And let's just jump into this game. This game's going to be kind of going on in the background a little bit here. And this is the game that I played, my last one, taking me from Platinum 3 to Diamond 1, where I ended the season. And man, oh man, did Age of Empires 4 not want me to win this game, because you can take a look at my opponents, the Holy Roman Empire, Japanese, and French, and they were Conqueror 3, Conqueror 2, and Conqueror 1. And I was sitting here on a team of kind of diamonds and platinums. So very much a high skill lobby where the odds were stacked against us, but even so, we did manage to win this game, as you can see, in relatively short order, just 20 minutes. So let's jump into the principles here so you can do this yourself. Principle number 1, you just have to kind of have the mental attitude of recognizing that you're not going to be able to win every single game. There are going to occasionally be games that are just completely out of your control, whether that's loading into a game and a teammate of yours just immediately disconnects for whatever reason. Suddenly you're down a full player at the very start. That's just going to be really, really rough, no matter what you're trying to do. And sometimes you're going to have an ally that gets put behind pretty significantly early, and despite your best efforts to kind of assist them, they're just not able to get back on their feet. And again, it's just a very uphill battle. But once you recognize that you can't win every single game, I think you kind of realize that so many of the games that you do play, you do have a lot of agency, and you do have the ability to kind of make a huge difference and a huge impact across the map and potentially lead your team to victory. So you're not going to get that 100% win rate. As you can see, I only have the 85% here because I did lose 2 games in the middle of this big win streak. I wasn't able to get, the full flawless thing all the way through, but that's okay, because there's some games you just are not going to be able to win. And if you're able to recognize that and kind of take the pressure off of your mental state, you can realize that the games you can win, you can put a big kind of impact on your team. Those are the ones that you're going to kind of make the difference between what could have potentially been a loss that you're able to turn into a win thanks to your play. So that's principle number 1. Principle number 2 is that you want to make sure that you're playing in the right playlist. And what I mean is, we all know that Age of Empires 4 Team Ranked is based upon a kind of amalgamation of your ratings in 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4. It's all one rank. So what that means is that if you go to a website like AoE4world.com, you type in your profile, and then you scroll down a little bit. On the left-hand side here, you'll see that there's the section for Ranked Matchmaking ELO. And this is the hidden matchmaking rating that determines the skill level of your opponents and your allies. This is kind of what determines the skill level of the games that you're playing in across all of the different playlists, 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4. As you can see in my case, my 2v2 rating is actually in the Conqueror 1 range, that 1400 to 1500 area. So that means that if I was queuing 2v2, I'd be facing some very, very difficult opponents, on top of the fact that I just think that 2v2 is a little bit more difficult to solo queue in team games, because I think you benefit so much from having really direct coordination with your 2v2 teammate. So I was going to be having much, much higher levels of competition in that playlist. So I decided, you know what? Why not, since I'm trying to get this rank as quickly as I possibly can, face some lower level opponents by queuing up for 3v3 and 4v4, where I'm kind of down in the Diamond 1 range. So as a result of this, I do have lower ranked opponents. I also have lower ranked teammates, but I'm more likely to be able to impact the map in a significant way and kind of take advantage of some of these lower skilled players in comparison to as if I was playing in 2v2. But you can imagine that if it was opposite for me and I had a very, very low rank in 2v2, I would have been playing 2v2 all the way, trying my best to kind of carry in that way, just based on the skill rating of my opponents. So if it's specifically rank that you're worried about, that you're focusing on, and that you want to be kind of raising, really focus and take a look at this part in your AoE4 World profile to determine which playlist would be best for you to climb based on which one you might not have the highest amount of rating in. So playing smart in that way is going to make a big difference. Principle number three, is that you want to be playing a mobile, cavalry-based civilization. And the reason for this is that if you are choosing to be running a civilization that's more infantry-focused, you are just not going to be able to make as much of a difference across the map. These maps are large, and having your slow-moving infantry move all the way across the map to help an ally that's maybe struggling on the far side, by the time you get there, you're then getting attacked by people on the other side. Your army's kind of in this middle nowhere's land. Trust me, I've tried it. It's just much more difficult, and you are just relying more on the luck of the draw with your teammates to determine whether you're going to be in a victory position or not. Because you're not going to be having the same amount of opportunities for raiding, and you are really just going to be kind of at the mercy potentially of what's happening in the game based on your teammates' decisions. So having that mobility and having the ability to just go out on the map and do this raiding kind of across on your opponents is going to make a huge difference and really, really allow you to have more of an impact and have more agency in the games that you're playing. So number 4, you need to have your build order down pat. It's something that you need to be very, very confident in being able to execute pretty much flawlessly, ideally. In this case for me with French, it's making sure that I'm not rallying too many onto wood at a certain period of time. It's making sure that as soon as those deer come back onto the TC, that I'm moving my villagers from the sheep onto those deer after having researched survival techniques. It's just making sure you're as optimized as possible in that early game when there's less going on. You're not making any mistakes in that easier phase of the game, and you're setting yourself up for success as much as possible later on. It's going to make a massive, massive difference in putting you in the best position possible to do things. And so if you can find a great build order, really practice it, really get it down, make sure that you know what your macro is going to be kind of moving into this, I would say like 8 to 10 minute mark. And then that's when the raiding kind of starts and when you kind of have to use your focus on other parts of the map. Making sure you're really, really tight on your movements and your villager allocation during that period of time is going to make a big difference in making sure that you're in the best position possible to go forward and bowl through your opponents. Which brings us to the final of the 5 principles, number 5, and that is constantly looking for villager kills. One thing that I noticed, because I would always be looking at the stats after the games, is that in the majority of the games that I was winning in this win streak, I had the largest number of kills. And that wasn't because I was destroying the enemy's team's army thanks to the fact that I was stronger. It was because I was looping around the back and doing as much damage as I possibly could to the economy of my enemies. And if you think about it, in kind of high gold, platinum, diamond, there's some decently skilled players. If you let them sit back and do their thing, then they're going to be able to, do a decent job with their gameplay. If you can imagine a diamond rated player playing China, they're going to be able to go through the motions under no pressure, get multiple TCs, do their granary transition, and then be in Age 4 with a huge amount of clockwork nest of bees, really, really strong military that can potentially just bowl you over. But I do find, especially with these team game players who don't play a lot of 1v1s, they are extremely susceptible to being kind of completely caught off guard by the pressure. If you can get into a position where you're annoying them, poking them on different sides, sometimes their build orders just go completely out the window and they panic and they have way too much idle time on their villagers, and it's a massive, massive benefit to you. So using that pressure to go after these villagers on the enemy team and making sure you're not too stuck in one rut. If you're kind of constantly circling around a single gold mine that has lots of towers and a bunch of spearmen guarding, that's not the best use of your very, very mobile cavalry. What I like to do is I like to kind of change my direction. Maybe I'll go attack a different enemy. Maybe I'll circle around to another side to see if I can catch a wood line. I'm always constantly moving and adjusting where my knights could potentially be finding the most amount of damage. And that's going to be essentially what is winning you games. It's the game-ending damage that you're able to accomplish as a result of constantly looking for different weak points across the map. You would be very surprised at how frequently in a 4v4 game, 2 players on your side are very much prepared for your night rush. They have spears, they might have crossbows if they've gone up to Castle Age relatively quickly. But then you go across the map to the other 2 opponents who aren't expecting your knights to be there because that's not your side of the map. And you can completely obliterate their economy when they're not expecting it because they didn't think you would come all the way across the map. And your cavalry's fast enough, it's easy enough to do. So there's going to be a really good example of that happening right now. I've been over here kind of doing my best to harass this Holy Roman Empire player. He has a ton of spears. So instead, I'm adjusting my trajectory to kind of go after the French player, who I know is busy microing a bunch of different groups of knights up here on the front lines. So I come through, and this player immediately panics completely. And he currently has 25 villagers that are fleeing from this group of knights that I've just created into his base. So this is a disaster for him because these villagers have nowhere to go. The safety's behind him. He didn't garrison into the towers fast enough. And so as a result, I'm able to get all the way up on here. And you can see I move my knights in as much as I can, getting in between these villagers, just so I can do as much economy damage as I possibly can. And if you can find yourself in this kind of a position in a team game, this is exactly where you want to be. You can see I have 61 villagers. So you can imagine the number of villagers here, this is probably like half of his economy that is now gone because I decided to change my trajectory of my knights and see what I could do on a different side of the map. Literally kill almost all of them. I guess I leave one alive to tell the story to his comrades of the slaughter that he just witnessed, because that was half of his economy gone. And these knights don't stop there. I immediately decide, okay, really good economic damage on this player. What can we do over here? And you can see my ally here in the green is doing a great job harassing and causing some idle time for this player. And this is the most ideal part of this game. At this point in time, you have opponents who have got more villagers than they have space to garrison villagers for protection. So there's 15 villagers here, 4 inside the Kura storehouse, and these ones are all just running as fast as they can. And again, slaughtering more and more villagers, really keeping behind with all of this idle time as well. It's a very, very significant advantage that I'm currently building up for my team right now as a result of the actions that I'm doing. So Purple finally comes back and kind of does his best to assist. I run these knights away, and guess what? This entire time I've been building another force of knights. I've been going up with a keep here. I'm also researching, I think, inside of here very shortly, enlistment incentives. So the discount on my knights is also going to be improved. And now my ally, I will have to give full credit to my allies. Both green and yellow did an excellent job this game. And now we're able to push in and potentially do game-ending damage over here on orange's side. So this is what I'm talking about. Constantly moving your things around. I have another group of knights that's coming back in here, seeing if I can potentially do a little bit of damage on these villagers here. Do I notice? I end up kind of going onto this house. Unfortunately, a bit distracted. Could have done a little bit better. But at the same time, I do manage to get in on these villagers here. The gold mine. And that's more villagers that were just killed. Another 6 or 7 go down right there. Meanwhile, on this side, we've pushed in, causing massive amounts of idle time for the Holy Roman Empire player here. Just doing a bunch of damage onto this town center while the dervish are healing up all my knights, barely taking any damage at all from this TC arrow fire, now that I have Royal Bloodlines and Ranged Defense number 2 up. He does move into emergency repairs here. If you do find this with an HRE player, immediately transition your knights onto a different building. You'll see I move very quickly over here onto this tower once I recognize this. And yeah, that's kind of how we ended up winning this game. Really, really easy build up at the beginning, doing our best, and then you can see the surrenders have started to come through. This tower is gone. These villagers are also now gone, and that is all that she wrote. The game is over, and I completed another victory as a result of, I think, my actions and my teammates' actions. Did a great job supporting them. They did a great job supporting me, and we ended up winning this game pretty successfully together. And that's something that you can do as well. It is possible. So that's the 5 principles. Again, as a reminder, number 1, you will not win all of your games. Number 2, play smart, pick the right playlist in order to maximize your chances for gaining rating. Number 3, make sure you're picking a mobile cavalry civ so you can impact the map as much as possible. Number 4, have your build order completely lock solid so that you can do absolutely a flawless execution and put yourself in the best position, and then constantly be looking across the map for villager kills and economy damage that you can do. Keep them moving, keep them searching, and eventually your opponents will panic and you can pounce and do the game-ending damage to bring yourself another victory. So that's it for me in terms of this video. If you enjoyed that and found it helpful, let me know in the comments. Would really appreciate if you could hit the like and subscribe button as well. We're still trying to grow the channel at this point. And yeah, that's how things went for season 9. I hope that this feedback and this kind of ideas help you in your journey in season 10. The DLC is quite literally finally right around the corner. The next video from me will be all about the new content that is dropping very, very soon. So again, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next video, and bye for now.